Agin of Shabbos Parshas Shmini. This week's Parsha, there's a lot going on. We have kosher fish and kosher animals. We also have the story of the death of Nadav and Avihu, Ahron's two children, Gedolei Hadar, and this is something that's very relatable to every single Yid in Klal Yisrael this week. We lost Chaim Kanievsky, and he was very unique in that he just made contact with like everybody. Everyone was just able to go in and get a bracha, which is, it could be I'm wrong, but like that's like unparalleled in history. Just the openness that he had to everybody, and the response that Ahron HaKohen had was he's the quintessential paradigm of responding to something like this. So let's see what we can learn from Ahron HaKohen. What did Ahron HaKohen do? But Torah tells us, Vayidoim Ahron, he was quiet. And Chazal say that he got tremendous schar, and it's an applauding thing, and we hold Ahron up as the role model for how to respond in the face of a tragedy. And Rabbi Saul Reisman last year on this week's Parsha asked something fascinating. He said, why isn't that the greatest possible response that someone can have, that Ahron HaKohen could have had to the death of his children? The Gemara tells us in Brachas, Kashem shemevorchem al hatoiv, kach mevorchem al hara. The same way we make a bracha on good, that's how we should make a bracha on bad. The chayra, according to that, the greatest possible response that a person can have to a loss, to a tragedy, to something as fundamental as this, as earth-shattering and heartbreaking, would be a bracha, the way that Ahron would have made a bracha on toiv. But he was passive, by Yidem Ahron. And that seems to be the perfect response. The question is, why is that absolutely the greatest response that he could have had? He could have done a level higher. He could have been making brachas. He could have been singing and dancing on the Ra, just like he would with the Taiv. It's an incredibly high level, but we're talking about the highest level. We're talking about Ahron HaKohen, the role model for such a situation. And Rabbi Saul Reisman said that Ahron HaKohen did exactly what he was supposed to do, obviously. And the question is why? And the answer is that Ahron HaKohen realized that Nadav and Avihu were not just his children. They were his children, and that was a loss like nothing else. And for that, Ahron HaKohen would have actually made a bracha on the Ra, like the Toif, as Ahron HaKohen. However, he realized that these were also the Bnei Ahron, the Gedolei Hadar. They died of Misas Neshika. The neshama, just the fire flew into the nostrils. That's where the neshama goes. From just a pure, exuberant kirvas Elohim. He realized that this is not just a personal loss. This is a loss to Klal Yisrael. This is not just about me. By me, I could say, oh, I see that this is also, there's good behind every bad. There's nothing bad that comes from the Rebbeinu Shalom. This is only a lack of a shefa of the Rebbeinu Shalom. I can find in myself something good. But I can't walk into other people's levayas and being, oh, yeah, mazel tov, make a bracha. No, of course not. That's only on things by ourselves. And Ahron HaKohen realized that his children, the loss of his children was more than just his loss. It was a loss to everybody. It was a loss to Klal Yisrael. I'm sure everyone's heard the grasshopper story with Rav Chaim. If you didn't, ask somebody, everyone else knows it. But there's Rav Chaim was not like, he was definitely about Maifis, but I don't think he would have been excited by the fact that he was in Baal Maifis. And yes, he was doing miracles like Rav Yashiv said, like from the times of the Rishonim, like crazy things. But he was a Ben Torah. And you know, Rav Chaim was a kollel man. He sat in yeshiva and he learned. That's what he did. If you want to figure out what all those guys are doing in the mirror, they're doing what Rav Chaim did. But there's a ma'isa that you probably didn't hear. It happened to a neighbor of mine. His wife was expecting a baby, and the first few months of pregnancy, the doctors told them that this baby does not have a chance. If you do go through with this pregnancy, with this birth, not only will the baby not survive, it can endanger the mother. And they went for a second and third and fourth opinion, but this is what all the doctors were saying. And they went to their paisik over here in Umat Eshkol, and the Rav said, according to everything that the doctors are saying, kafi halacha, we have to go for an abortion. This is pikuach nefesh, and this baby at this stage is murdering his mother. So that was the psak. But he said, before we do anything, we have to go to Rav Chaim. We have to run the shayla by him, and maybe he'll give you some chizah, give you a bracha. So kachava, they scheduled an appointment. The Rav had connections, and my neighbor and his Rav went to go see Rav Chaim, and his Rav wrote out the entire spiel, top to bottom, every single step of the entire medical report and what all the doctors said. And he asked, "What should we do?" And Rav Chaim sat and he read the letter. And when I gave Rav Chaim a letter, I was floored that he actually read it. But he sat and he read the whole letter. And he said, he turns to the father and looks him square in the eye so that there would be no confusion. And he said, "Harofim enam yodim ma shehem omrim." The doctors have no idea what they're talking about. He said, "Go ahead with the birth. Baby's going to be fine. Mother's going to be fine." And I gave him a bracha v'atzlacha. And the Rav just double checked. Like, "Are you sure?" And Rav Chaim said, "This is the psak. Everything is going to be okay." They went back to the hospital. They told the doctors, "We'd like to proceed with the regular birth." And the doctor said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Yeah, our rabbi told us." So, "What do you like? Look, this is what the numbers don't lie. Science doesn't lie. These are the facts on the table." And they said, "This is the psak we got. This is what we're going with. This is Rav Chaim." That was Rav Chaim. And they said, "We're taking no responsibility for this." And they said, "We understand." And they had to sign their life and sign papers that they were going against the doctor's recommendations, and they went ahead with the pregnancy. A few months later, the baby was born premature. The mother has stayed in the hospital for a couple of months recovering. Healthy baby, healthy mother. I just did the kids' upshare a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, that's what we lost. That's Vayudem Ahron. It's not a loss. It's personal to every single member of Klal Yisrael. But Rav Chaim's house was something else. His fridge, you could just walk in there and take anything out of the fridge whenever you'd like. And the same neighbor has a yarmulke from Rav Chaim. I was like, "What are you doing with Rav Chaim's yarmulke?" She said, "I wanted a souvenir." So this is when the Rebbetzin was alive. He asked the Rebbetzin, maybe the Rosh Hashiva, it wasn't Rosh Hashiva, maybe Rav Chaim has an extra yarmulke that I could have. So she said, "No, come with me." And she brought my neighbor into the bedroom, and she's fiddling through the drawers trying to find an old yarmulke. And Rav Chaim was sleeping right there on the bed. And, the half hour that he slept, whatever it was. And she, in the back of the drawer, she found the yarmulke, takes it out, takes the yarmulke off of Rav Chaim's head, puts on the other one, slides it under, and he gives the yarmulke straight off Rav Chaim's head to this random person from Yerushalayim who just wanted a souvenir. That is a Pella Digga story. Like, I don't know what to make of that. Vayudem Ahron. Our job is to silently grow ourselves and to fill the void of the Torah that Rav Chaim encompassed in this world. It's looking for somewhere to go. Now's our chance to take a hold of that spirituality, that kedusha, that elevation, that Torah, and harness it. And very soon, Be'ez Hashem, we will greet Mashiach and dance with Rav Chaim and Mashiach and David HaMelech to the Beis HaMikdash. B'mher Yameinu, Amen. Good Shabbos.